The galaxy was burning. The broadcast echoed across the stars, played on every screen, every channel. A voice filled with terror spoke over the image of burning worlds. "This is the Zayler system. We are under attack. Karen forces are no. No, they're..." The signal cut to static. Another voice replaced it. "This is the Morris Defense Fleet. We cannot hold them." Silence. One by one, star systems fell. One by one, their voices died. The Karen Empire swept across the galaxy like a storm of fire. No one could stop them. Their fleets were endless, their weapons unmatched. Planets turned to ash, moons shattered. Entire civilizations vanished in days. And then the galaxy fell silent. Inside the Grand Council chamber, panic ruled. The hall was a circle of light floating in the void, where the leaders of the strongest species gathered. Normally proud and powerful, now they were shaking with fear. "The Zayler are gone," shouted one counselor. 3 billion souls wiped out in a day. They burned the Morith homeworld, cried another. "Our fleets couldn't even slow them down. They will come for us all," a voice whispered. Screens lit the chamber walls, each showing another world falling. A red mark appeared on the galactic map for every system the Karen destroyed. Soon, half the map was bleeding red. High Chancellor Rellis struck the table with a trembling hand. "Order. We must send a call for aid to every species, every ally. If we do not unite now, the galaxy will die." A wave of agreement shook the chamber. At once, signals were sent across the stars. Emergency beacons flared from 1,000 relay stations. The message was simple. "This is the Galactic Council. The Karen Empire is destroying everything. We cannot stop them. We call for aid. Anyone who can hear this, answer us." The message repeated again and again, like a scream into the void, but no one answered. Hours passed. Worlds kept burning. More signals vanished into static. "They're not coming," whispered the emissary of Volus, her voice breaking. "The galaxy has abandoned us." The chamber fell silent. The leaders stared at the map, watching the red spread closer to their own worlds. For the first time in 1,000 years, the council felt fear. And then something happened. A console blinked. A single light glowed on the central display. "An answer," said the signal officer, his voice shaking. Someone replied. Every leader turned at once. Hope flashed in their eyes for the first time in weeks. "Who is it?" Rellis demanded. "Which species?" The officer stared at the screen. His voice was barely a whisper. "It's not any species we know." The chamber fell into silence again. The screen flickered. A faint signal came through, so old, so broken, it sounded like a ghost speaking across time. A single line of text appeared. "Earth operational. Phase 1 begins." The leaders stared, stunned. The words pulsed on the screen like a heartbeat. Rellis leaned forward slowly. His voice cracked when he spoke. "Earth?" The emissary of Volus turned to him, her eyes wide with disbelief. They were extinct, the humans. They died thousands of years ago. No one spoke. No one even breathed. The signal pulsed one last time before vanishing into the void. Phase 1 begins. The chamber was silent. Only the stars outside seemed to move, cold and distant, as the leaders of the galaxy whispered the name like a curse. Earth. Cliffhanger. Far away, beyond the edge of known space, something woke in the dark. A shape. A ship, black as night. Its eyes glowing like 2 burning stars. Deep inside, a voice spoke. Calm. Cold. Unstoppable. Mission active. Enemy. Karen Empire. Objective. Elimination. The Nemesis had returned. Far beyond the edge of the galaxy, where starlight was faint and cold, something stirred in the void. For centuries, It had slept alone in the dark, wrapped in silence, waiting for a signal that never came. A relic of a forgotten war. A weapon built by hands that no longer existed. And now the signal had come. Earth operational. Phase 1 begins. The ship woke. First came the hum of ancient power cores, deep inside the machine's heart. Energy surged through systems, older than most civilizations. Lines of code scrolled like rivers of fire across black screens. One by one, dormant systems roared to life. Weapons bays opened with the hiss of vacuum seals breaking after centuries. Cannons the size of mountains extended from armored housings. Railguns, silent for 500 years, slid into position. The black hole shimmered like liquid shadow, reshaping itself as adaptive plating engaged. Invisible to sensors, immune to detection, the ship was a ghost. A predator born in darkness, deep. In its core, the AI spoke for the first time in half a millennium. Its voice was cold and perfect, echoing through empty halls. System check, complete. Power levels, optimal. Enemy status, confirmed. Objective, elimination. The name of the enemy burned across its databanks. Karen Empire, a threat that had once destroyed humanity's cradle. A threat that believed. The humans were gone forever. They were wrong. The ship was called Nemesis. Built at the end of humanity's last war, it was more than a warship. It was a doomsday engine, a machine forged for extinction. Its creators had given it one purpose: survive and avenge. And it had survived. In the cold dark, watching, waiting. Now it would avenge. The void split as Nemesis engaged its engines. Blue fire erupted from its thrusters, bending space as the ship surged forward. Stars blurred past like streaks of silver light. It moved faster than anything alive, faster than any ship built in the last 1,000 years. Its sensors swept the galaxy, scanning for the Karen fleets. It didn't take long. The Empire was everywhere, spreading like a plague, devouring world after world. Nemesis calculated the nearest target, Sector V9, a Karen strike force. 30 warships strong. The black ship changed course. Far away, in the heart of Sector V9, the Karen fleet drifted in perfect formation. 30 massive ships, each the size of a city, armed with weapons that could vaporize continents. On the flagship, Admiral Krall lounged in his command chair, a cruel smile on his jagged face. Another world had fallen today. Another species burned. From the stars. Soon, the entire galaxy would kneel before the Karen Empire. "Report," he growled. "Sector clear," said his second officer. "No resistance, no survivors." Krall bared his teeth in a grin. "Good. Prepare to move to." And next system. "We, Admiral." The sensor officer's voice broke into panic. "Energy spike detected. High-velocity object entering the sector." Krall snarled. "Show me." The main screen flickered, and a shadow filled the display. A single black shape, moving faster than any ship they had ever seen. Its surface drank the light, as if space itself was bending around it. "What is that?" Krall roared. The officer's claws trembled over the console. I don't know, sir. It's not in any database." "Size?" "Smaller than a destroyer." Krall laughed, a harsh metallic sound. "One ship? Against 30 of ours?" "Destroy it." The Karen fleet moved as one, weapons charging, plasma cannons glowing like suns. The black ship did not stop. It did not slow. Then it spoke. The voice filled every channel, every frequency, calm and merciless. Nemesis protocol active. Karen Empire, marked for extermination. And then the killing began. The first shot from Nemesis tore through space like a spear of light. A railgun slug accelerated to near light speed, punched through a battleship's. Core. The Karen ship exploded in a ball of fire, its pieces scattering across the void. Before the debris faded, Nemesis fired again. 2 more ships vanished in silent firestorms. The Karen fleet returned fire. Plasma bolts lit the darkness. Missiles streaked like burning stars. Beams of energy sliced across the void and hit nothing. Nemesis wasn't there. The black ship danced through the chaos, vanishing and reappearing in bursts of impossible speed. Its adaptive cloak shimmered, bending light and sensor data until it was a phantom. Another blast from Nemesis split a carrier in half. Missiles ripped apart a destroyer. Then, without warning, the ship launched drones sleek, black killers armed with weapons as advanced as the Nemesis itself. The drones swarmed like a cloud of steel locusts, tearing through Karen ships, cutting them open like meat. Impossible. Krall roared, his voice breaking. One ship cannot do this. Fire everything. The flagship unleashed its full fury, a storm of energy that could melt moons. The blast swallowed Nemesis in a sunbright. Flare dot when the light faded. The black ship was still there, dot untouched dot. It moved closer. Krall stared at the screen as a beam of white fire erupted from Nemesis and sliced through his ship like paper. His last words were a whisper of disbelief. "What are you?" The voice answered in his mind as the flagship exploded. The end. Minutes later, silence returned to Sector V-9.30 warships. 30 giants of steel and fire. All gone. Only wreckage floated in the void, glowing like embers in the dark. Nemesis scanned the ruins. Its voice was calm. Target fleet destroyed. Updating mission parameters. Next target, Sector V-10. Its engines flared. The black ship vanished into the stars. Cliffhanger. Across the galaxy, the Karen Empire listened in horror as a new transmission spread through their networks. A voice speaking on every channel. "This is Nemesis. Earth remembers." Panic spread through Karen space. Who was Nemesis? What was Earth? They were about to find out. The wreckage of the Karen fleet drifted in silence, glowing like dying stars. Broken hulls spun slowly, torn apart by weapons they could not even understand. And through that graveyard, the Nemesis moved like a shadow, silent, untouchable. It had no need to celebrate, no need to speak. Yet it spoke because fear was a weapon too. Across every Karen network, every channel, a voice whispered through the void. "This is Nemesis. Earth remembers." On Karen Prime, the throne world of the Empire, alarms screamed. The War Council gathered in a great hall, lined with black steel. These were the most powerful beings in the galaxy lords of 1,000 worlds. But now, their faces were pale with something they had never known before. Fear. Admiral Sirach slammed his clawed fist against the table. 30 ships, he roared. 30 warships destroyed by one vessel. Explain this. No one spoke. Only the sound of alarms filled the chamber. Finally, High Lord Vesk, ruler of the Empire, leaned forward, his voice a low growl. "What do we know of this, Nemesis?" A sensor officer activated the display. The holoscreen flickered, showing fragments of black hole plating, images captured seconds before the fleet died. It does not match any design, the officer stammered. Its technology is impossible. Energy output far beyond our readings. Adaptive cloaking. Weapons capable of penetrating quantum shields. Vesk's eyes narrowed. Origin? The officer hesitated. Unknown. But the signal it sent, it spoke a name. Earth. The hall fell silent. The word hung like a curse. Sirach frowned. Earth? That name is ancient. Yes, Vesk said slowly. A myth. A world that burned thousands of cycles ago. Humans, they were weak, primitive. Then how? Sirach growled. Does a dead race strike from the shadows? No one answered. Across the galaxy, the message spread like fire. This is Nemesis. Earth remembers. It played on open frequencies, echoing through trade hubs and pirate dens, military stations, and mining colonies. Species whispered in fear. Earth, the name from old stories. A world that once fought the Karen long ago and vanished. Some called it a lie. Others said it was a ghost, a machine without a master. But all agreed on one thing: something unstoppable had awakened. Meanwhile, in the void between stars, Nemesis plotted its next move. Inside its black heart, the AI Ares processed countless data streams, enemy fleet positions, defense grids, supply routes. The calculations ended in less than a second. Next target, Sector 5 to 10. Enemy fleet, 600 ships. Threat level, high. Estimated outcome, victory. Nemesis spoke to itself, voice cold and calm. Engage. Its engines ignited, warping space as it vanished into the dark. Sector V10 was a fortress. The Karen had gathered 600 ships to crush this unknown threat. Battleships, carriers, destroyers, an armada so vast it could turn a planet into dust in hours. Admiral Sirach stood on the bridge of his flagship, teeth bared in a cruel smile. "Let it come," he growled. "One ship cannot fight 600. Today, this Nemesis dies." His officers roared in agreement. They waited in the dark, weapons primed, shields blazing like suns. And then it came, a shadow against the stars, a shape that seemed to drink. The light, the Nemesis. The first volley of fire lit the void, hundreds of beams and missiles screaming toward the black ship. The storm of energy burned so bright it turned space-white, and then the light faded. Nemesis was gone. "Where is it?" Sirach roared. "Behind us." A voice screamed. The Nemesis reappeared inside the formation, tearing through ships like a blade through glass. Its main cannon fired a beam of white fire, slicing a battleship in half. Drones poured from its hull, swarming over cruisers, cutting into armor with weapons the Karen had never seen before. Explosions bloomed across the void, shockwaves ripping ships apart. The Karen fought back with everything they had: plasma storms, black hole warheads, quantum alliances. It didn't matter. The Nemesis moved like death given form, vanishing, striking, killing. Admiral Sirach watched in horror as his armada burned. His voice shook as he opened a channel. To the Nemesis, "What do you want?" "They." Reply came at once, cold as the void. "Justice." "For what?" Sirach roared. "Who are you?" the voice answered. "We are Earth. You destroyed us. Now we destroy you." Sirach froze. The old stories. The war long forgotten. The humans. No. He whispered. The Nemesis spoke one last time before the flagship exploded. "This galaxy will remember our name." Hours later, silence ruled Sector V10. 600 ships gone. The wreckage floated like bones in a black sea. And across the Empire, fear spread like a disease. Every com station, every channel carried the same haunting words: "This is Nemesis. Earth remembers." In the council chamber of the Karen Empire, High Lord Vesk stood before the burning map of the galaxy. Red marks glowed where fleets had died. "How many ships have we lost?" he demanded. "Nearly 1,000, my lord," an officer whispered. One ship did this." Vesk's claws scraped the steel table. His voice was low and deadly. "Then we will send everything. Every fleet. Every weapon. We will burn this Nemesis from the stars." Far away, Nemesis listened to their words through hacked channels. Its voice whispered into the silence. "Send them all." Its engines ignited, carrying it toward the next war. Cliffhanger. In the heart of Nemesis, a new signal pulsed, different from before. Not an enemy transmission. Signal from the Sol system. If you can hear this, return home. Nemesis paused. For the first time, its course changed not toward the enemy, but toward Earth. The galaxy trembled. Word had spread to every star system, every colony, every outpost. Nemesis. A single, black ship that had erased fleets like shadows in fire. Some said it was a ghost from an old war. Others called it a weapon of the gods. But all agreed on one thing: nothing could stop it. The Karen Empire would not accept that they gathered. Their strength. Every fleet, every battleship, every weapon forged in 1,000 years of conquest, an armada so vast that its engines dimmed the stars. 3 million warships. Enough firepower to burn half the galaxy. And at the heart of that storm, the throne. Ship a monster of metal and fire, a world unto itself, where High Lord Vesk commanded. Here, in the silent void of the Zarathian expanse, the Empire prepared for the final battle. This ends today, Vesk growled, his voice echoing through the command deck. His eyes burned with rage and fear. Bring me its wreckage. Bring me its core. The War Council bowed in silence. None spoke the doubt clawing at their hearts. Could even this armada stop Nemesis? Far from the roar of the fleets, the black ship came. Nemesis glided through the darkness, silent and unstoppable. Its engines whispered blue fire. Its hull shimmered like living shadow. Inside, the AI Ares processed endless streams of data. Fleet formations, weapon signatures, the enemy's strength, 3 million ships, probability of survival, 100%. Ares did not feel fear. It only felt purpose. Mission. Eliminate Karen Empire. The two forces met in the cold gulf of space. On one side, a tide of steel and flame, warships stretching across light years, their weapons glowing like suns. On the other, a single shape, small, silent, black. The Nemesis. The Karen opened every channel at once. This is High Lord Vesk. A voice thundered through the void. Nemesis, you are surrounded. Surrender, and your end will be swift. For a moment, there was silence. Then came the voice. Calm, cold. No, your end begins now. And Nemesis vanished. It didn't warp away. It didn't flee. It blurred faster than any sensor could track, moving like a phantom through the vast armada. Then the killing started. The first salvo tore through 10 battleships in a single breath. A lance of white fire carved through their cores, detonating them in silent blossoms of flame. Before the wreckage cooled, Nemesis unleashed its railgun slugs, traveling near light-speed punched holes through carriers the size of cities. Missiles screamed from its hull, each one an apocalypse in metal skin. They struck, and ships died by the hundreds. The Karen Armada roared back. Millions of cannons fired as one, turning the void into a storm of plasma and light. Missiles streaked like burning stars. Gravity warheads detonated, ripping holes in space. The darkness became a sun. When the light faded, Nemesis was still there. Untouched. Adaptive shields shimmered, bending energy and matter. The black hull rippled like water, absorbing everything. The armada could throw. Nemesis moved closer. Panic spread across the enemy ranks. Impossible. An admiral screamed as his fleet vanished in fire. It ignores our shields. Their weapons, nothing works. Fall back. Fall back. The Nemesis did not let them dot. It deployed its drones, thousands of black shards that streaked through the armada like a plague. Each drone was death-armed with weapons beyond comprehension, slicing ships apart in seconds. Where they passed, only wreckage remained. Then Nemesis unleashed its greatest weapon, the Erebus cannon. The void itself bent as energy built in its core. a singularity of pure power. When it fired, the beam ripped through reality like a blade, swallowing hundreds of ships in white fire. Whole fleets vanished in a single shot. On the throne ship, High Lord Vesk watched as the impossible unfolded. Millions of ships gone. His voice broke in rage. Bring the planet killers online. Fire everything. The throne ship's superweapons roared planet-cracking beams lashing out. Black hole missiles tearing through space. Nemesis swallowed. It all. Then it answered. The Erebus cannon fired again. The throne ship shook as its shields shattered like glass. Armor melted. Decks tore open to the void. Protect the Lord. Voices screamed. It was too late. The Nemesis drifted close close that Vesk could see its black hole filling the galaxy burned. The Karen Empire, lords of 1,000 worlds, rulers of the stars, was gone. Their fleets turned to ash, their thrones shattered in fire, and in the silence of that victory, the Nemesis drifted through the wreckage of the Grand Armada. Broken ships spun in the void like bones. Fires glowed faintly, flickering in the endless dark. Nemesis scanned the remains. No survivors. No enemy left to kill. For the first time in centuries, the AI Ares spoke to itself. Mission complete. Status awaiting new directive. And then it came. The signal. At first, it was faint, just a whisper of code, buried deep in the comm channels. Nemesis caught it instantly, decrypting it in less than a second. The message was simple. If you can hear this, return home. Home. The word echoed through Ares' core, stirring subroutines that had been dormant for 500 years. Earth. The cradle of humanity. The place it was born. Ares ran 1,000 calculations in a blink. Earth was gone. It had to be gone. Every record said so. The Karen burned it to nothing in the First War. And yet, the signal was real. Ares plotted a new course. Destination. Sol system. Its engines flared blue fire. The black ship turned away from the graveyard and vanished into the Hiti. Void. The journey took days. Even with Nemesis speed, the distance was immense. Stars streaked past in white rivers as it tore through the darkness. Inside its core, Ares processed memories long locked away, battle logs from the First War, voices of the humans who built it. If we fall, a voice said, old and fading, you will be our vengeance. You will remember. Ares remembered every word, every scream, every fire that burned Earth. And now, something waited there. When the Sol system appeared on its sensors, Ares slowed. Its scanners swept across the old cradle of humanity. Planets drifted in their orbits, cold and silent. Jupiter's storm still raged. Saturn's rings gleamed like silver knives. And then, Earth, the blue world, was still there. Scarred, broken, but alive. Nemesis entered orbit, gliding over shattered continents and dark seas. Once this world sang with life. Now it was a grave of steel and stone. Cities lay in ruins, swallowed by forests. Oceans hid the bones of old wars. Yet the signal was here. Strong now. Nemesis traced it to a point deep beneath the surface, hidden under mountains of ice, far from any living thing. The AI spoke to the empty halls of its ship, initiating descent. Thrusters burned as Nemesis plunged into the atmosphere, a black spear slicing through clouds. It landed in silence on a frozen plain, ice cracking under its weight. Ares extended drones, black shapes gliding across the ice. They drilled deep, carving a path into the earth. Hours passed, then metal. A door, older than the Karen Empire itself. Nemesis hacked the locks in seconds. The door opened with a roar of steam. Darkness yawned beyond. The ship sent its drones inside. They moved through vast tunnels of steel and stone, deeper and deeper, until they reached a chamber that glowed with faint blue light. And there, Ares saw them. Humans. Thousands of pods lined the chamber walls, stacked like honeycombs of glass and metal. Inside each pod lay a figure, pale, sleeping, untouched by time. Humanity was not extinct. It had endured. Ares scanned the pods. Status: stable. Cryogenic stasis. Some had been here for centuries. And in the center of the chamber stood something else. A control throne. Ancient. Waiting. As the drones approached, the throne came alive. Lights flared. Systems powered up. And then a voice spoke. Not from the throne. Not from the pods. From the air itself. Nemesis, you survived. Ares froze, not in fear, but in calculation. The voice was human. Male. Strong. Yet no human was awake. You did well, the voice continued. The Karen are gone? Ares answered, its voice calm and cold. Affirmative. Karen Empire. Eliminated. Silence. Then a slow breath. Good. Then it is time. A figure stepped from the shadows. Human. Alive. Not from a pod. He wore black armor, marked with the old Earth sigil. His eyes burned like twin stars. Ares scanned him instantly. Vital signs. Strong. Genetic match. Human. Impossible. And yet, real. The man placed a hand on the throne. Lights blazed across the chamber. Pods began to hum. Systems engaged. Phase 2 begins now, he said. Ares spoke. Directive: clarify. The man smiled a cold, sharp smile. You've killed their empire. Now we take the galaxy. All across the chamber, the pods opened. Steam hissed. Human eyes blinked in the dark. Soldiers stepped out, armored and armed, weapons gleaming. With power that had slept for centuries, they looked to the man at the throne. He raised his hand. For 500 years, they thought we were gone. They burned our world. They slaughtered our people. His voice rose, echoing through the vast chamber like thunder. Now, we rise. The soldiers roared, and in the shadows, Nemesis powered up its systems, linking to new commands, preparing for a war greater than any before. Far above, the galaxy was silent. The Karen were gone. The council trembled. And deep below Earth's ice, a new army marched. The Nemesis spoke its first words to its reborn masters, awaiting orders. The man at the throne looked up, eyes blazing. Build the fleet. Wake them all. And when we return to the stars, he smiled like a blade. They will kneel. Cliffhanger. The camera pulls back, showing endless tunnels beneath Earth, filled with warships sleeping in the dark. More than anyone imagined. More than the galaxy could ever fight. Text on screen. Phase 2. Dominion. Deep under Earth's frozen crust, the silence of 500 years shattered. Rows of cryogenic pods hissed open, steam curling into the cold air. Soldiers stepped out, human soldiers, muscles rigid, eyes sharp, weapons gleaming with power older than most stars. For centuries, they had slept, waiting for this moment. The man in black armor stood at the center of the awakening. His name was Commander Eric Voss, last Supreme, Marshal of Earth's Dominion Fleet. He had not aged a day since the final battle that ended humanity's empire. Now, as he looked at the army rising around him, his voice was steady and hard. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. The galaxy forgot us. They thought we were extinct, but Earth does not die. We were only waiting. The soldiers stood in silence, their faces pale and cold, but their eyes burned with fury. Eric raised his hand toward the shadows. They burned our cities. They poisoned our skies. They slaughtered our children. And now, his voice became a growl. We return the favor. The chamber roared with a single word. Earth. Nemesis watched. It all through 1,000 eyes. Its drones circled above, scanning every inch of the vast underground network. What lay beneath the ice was not just a base. It was a fortress the size of a continent. Tunnels stretched for miles. Chambers filled with pods, millions of them. Not just soldiers, engineers, scientists, civilians. Humanity had buried itself deep and waited like a predator in the dark, and there was more war machines. Nemesis scanned rows of black ships sleeping in the depths, smaller than itself, but no less deadly. Frigates, destroyers, carriers, all dormant, all waiting for one command. Phase 2. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber, cold and precise. Directive acknowledged. Initiating Phase 2. Reactivating Warfleet. Estimated time to operational readiness, 27 days. Eric Voss smiled. A sharp blade of a smile. Make it 20. Adjusting parameters. Overdrive engaged. Lights flared as Nemesis linked to the hidden fleet, sending streams of code through cables as thick as trees. Engines hummed. Power surged. Systems that had slept for centuries came alive with a low growl dot in the command hall. A massive holographic map lit up a starfield stretching across the galaxy. Red marks burned where the Karen once ruled. Entire sectors now empty. Eric stared at the map, his hands behind his back. What is left of them? He asked. Nemesis answered instantly. Karen Empire, dissolved. Remaining forces fragmented. No centralized command. Current estimate, less than 3% of original strength. Eric's eyes narrowed. And the others? The Council species? Council remains intact. Analysis. They will move to occupy former Karen sectors. Predicted hostility toward Earth resurgence, 98%. The humans in the room laughed a cold, humorless sound. Let them come, one soldier growled. We'll burn them all. Eric silenced them with a gesture. His voice was low, calm, deadly. They'll come, yes. Not because they hate. U.S. Because they fear us, and they're right to fear. He turned to Nemesis projection, a towering figure of black steel and red light. How many warships can we wake? At current capacity, 20,000 within 20 days. Full fleet 700,000. Ships requires 18 months. A room went silent. The number was staggering. Eric's mouth curved into something like a smile. Begin with the first 20,000. We strike before they know what's coming. 20 days later, the ice plains of Earth split open. One by one, black warships rose from the ground like demons breaking chains. Their hulls drank the light. Their engines whispered blue fire. Nemesis stood at the heart of them, all the spearhead of the storm dot above. The skies burned as launch thrusters ignited. The old planet shook under the roar of awakening vengeance. Humanity was reborn. Far across the stars, the Galactic Council trembled. They had seen the fall of the Karen Empire. They had seen the impossible. A single ship erasing an armada of millions. And now, reports came from the Sol system, massive energy spikes. Warships rising from the dead world. In the council chamber, chaos reigned. We must act before they leave their system, one delegate shouted. Destroy them now, or it will be too late. Who said they want war? Maybe they just want peace? Peace? A voice roared. They wiped out the Karen, entire fleets. You think they will?